we a-rolling? Are we a-rocking and a-rolling, ladies and gentlemen, on the Intergoogle? Setup here. We're just checking everything out to make sure it's all working. I know we tried to do one of these restream things last week or so, and it was and it was not a working. Oh, I am seeing the things. Greetings, y'all. Can you see me all right? We are doing not only Facebook Live, we're live on YouTube right now. Lawyer John! What's going down, Daddy-O? Long time no hear. See. Greetings from beautiful Toledo as well. I like it all. Greetings from Hungary. Lord have mercy, so many locations. Adam Bob, what's going on, Daddy-O? The mic level is low? Let's see what we can do about that. We'll see what we can do. Well, the video is lagging audio. We're gonna see what we're doing here. We're getting the bugs out, ladies and gentlemen. It's a work in progress. Greg's Hour is here, and fans know it. Bless your hearts, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, thanks. Sweden. It's not synced, huh? Let's see if it'll, where is Drummer Boy? That's a damn good question. He went upstairs to lay his head down for a minute. We've been having back problems in the Koch residence. I had a little backy, I played my B-bender the other day, and back in 2001, I did a NAMM show where I was doing a bunch of stuff for Fender. I was doing like seven little mini sets a day when that Cyber Twin came out, and I started using my B-bender, and that doggone B-bender, just the right amount of weight in the wrong place, and it messed up my back. I was literally incapacitated. I had to be wheelchaired to the airplane. So I've been a little dicey about using the B-bender since then, and the other day I thought, since I'm home and I haven't had a chance to unleash the Lance Keltner, you savage beast! I haven't had a chance to mess with that B-bender, so I took that rascal out and I was playing. I was like, oh, this is cool. I forgot I could do this, and no, that's cool. I forgot, this tune of mine. I was working on the B-bender, and the next day I woke up and I had back spasms like I haven't had in years. So I had to go to the old doggone chiropractor, who also has the same last name as myself. He is actually the brother-in-law of a buddy of mine that I've been known for quite some time. So the Koch's run rampant here behind the cheddar curtain, ladies and gentlemen. Can you dig it? Sounds like a big workman's comp payday. Oh, Neil, I like what you're talking about. You know what they did? Actually, it's a funny story. So I got worked like a farm animal, that NAMM show. My back goes out. I go back home. I start seeing a chiropractor, and the chiropractor played guitar. So Fender said, find out what kind of guitars he wants, and we'll take care of them. So that actually was taking care of it. So I didn't actually get paid any compensation, other than the fact that, of course, workman's comp was they covered the chiropractor with a guitar. Have you played the 70th anniversary Fender Broadcaster yet? I saw one at NAMM, and I began to salivate with great vehemence. But I have not yet had a chance to take and eat of that glorious weapon. How are we doing out there? Is the sync happening now? This is all kind of a work in progress. We got a new system up and running here that I just deployed today. The Fishman folks were kind enough to send me some stuff. My vocal is really low. Okay. Probably because my guitar is really loud. The microphone is right about there, Steve. Let's see what I got here. Should I talk into the microphone? Does that help? This microphone? Yes, I had this 335 because I worked with Fishman on these pickups, the Fluence pickups, and I have these classic humbuckers on this doggone 335, and it sounds glorious. Chatting away on the restream. Sorry, folks, if we're a little, we're trying to work the bugs out of this system where we're hitting multiple platforms at once. All right, sorry, we're getting back to the questions here. Is it possible to have the humbucker coils in the Tele pickups that could be activated by the button? One versatile Tele. Well, you cannot make these pickups be other than what they are. So there are two voices for each pickup, but like I can't in the enclosure of the Tele pickups make them an actual double coil humbucker. They are noise canceling. You know what I'm saying? They have two voices. One voice is a little weightier than the other one as far as volume. But yeah, guitar is loud, voice is low. Well, as long as you can hear the guitar. Maybe I should just talk through this microphone so you can hear it better. I'm going with this little Fishman Loudbox Performer amp back here as well. Is that better if I talk through there? Oh, no, what's got? Let's go over here once if we could. I could get back here. Boy, a lot of toying around here. Oh. Sorry, folks. We're just getting the bugs out. We're figuring it out as we go along here. This is actually the first time I think I've gone live on YouTube, which is crazy. Now right? Sorry about it, folks. We're figuring it all out. We'll get it all figured out in the end. Someone wanted to hear a little bit of Night Owl Now. It's an old tune of mine. I sure hope you guys saw and heard that. That was halfway decent. I got to see, my computer went blank here, so I don't know if the if the stream is still going or not. Oh, modern technology. It is it's a conundrum, is it not? Woo, clap, clap, applause. I'm taking that as a good sign. It keeps on going back to this other page here, which is annoying the bejesus out of me. Let's go over here. Restream chat. That's what I want to see. So Restream is this program, for those of you who don't know, that allows you to go on multiple platforms at once. And this is, we tried to do it last week and it did not work on my computer. So Fishman sent me another computer with everything loaded on it. My buddy Ryan at Fishman, and nice Audio-Technica microphone and a different webcam. There's a giant donut light just working out the bugs, folks. So we'll get it going as we go along here. It seems that the guitar might be loud enough, but the vocal mic not so much. So okay, some questions. Any chance of having you play in Spain anytime soon? Ryan says, sorry, it's my fault trying to fix the delay. Okay, we'll figure it out. I'd love to play in Spain. We actually had a tour booked there. I don't know how many years ago now. We were going to go to Spain and do a bunch of gigs, and then go into Morocco and do some stuff. And my booking agent in Europe set it up with a different agent on the Iberian side of things. And for whatever reason, it did not pan out. So as a result, we have not been. Currently, I don't know if we have a way to get there or not, but obviously with all this current situation with the pandemic, we're going to hopefully, once things get back going again, find ourselves in Europe sooner than later. We're supposed to be coming in the fall to go to some parts of mainland Europe and then a thing in the UK, but we shall see what transpires. I don't think anyone really knows what's happening. Someone wanted a Danny Gatton story. Well, I first heard about Danny Gatton in Guitar Player magazine years ago. In 1983, there was a rockabilly special that was in Guitar Player magazine, and Brian Setzer was on the cover. Stray Cats were quite big at that point in time, and there was one of the articles. They had about 5 different people that were featured. I remember Sleepy the Beef was one of them, and Danny Gatton at that time playing with Robert Gordon. And I thought, who is this rascal? And then a couple years later, I was playing in a band with a local guy here who was a bit older than I am, Tommy Milkowski. Tommy Milwaukee, as he was known. He played in a band called the Booze Brothers. And he had, which was a very successful tribute band before tribute bands were a thing. And he had a side band called Tommy Milwaukee's Fast Train. And we did a bunch of cool rockabilly tunes. A bunch of Nick Lowe stuff with, kind of Dave Edmundsy, and then a bunch of older, roots rock stuff. And I was doing some chicken pickin' stuff over that material. And when we were rehearsing over at his house, his brother was in town. His brother is the music writer, Bill Milkowski, wrote the Jaco Pastorius book, wrote for Downbeat, Guitar World magazine, a bunch of other magazines. Anyway, he heard me playing, and came downstairs. He's like, hey, are you hip to this Danny Gatton guy? I said, well, I've heard of him, but I've never actually heard him. That was back before the Google, where you go, who's that? And just type it in and see and hear whatever you want. That was before that time. And this was before Danny was signed to a major label for those Cruisin' Deuces and the 88 Elmira Street was before that. So he sent me a cassette tape. Bill did back in the day. He sent me a cassette tape of Redneck Jazz and what was the other one? Unfinished Business. And I scoured those records. They were mind-blowing, transformative, if you will. At that time, I was already doing chicken picking and that style of playing, but certainly not to that level of severity. I was really into Albert Lee and Ray Flack and, of course, Mark Knopfler, and then I got into Roy Buchanan. I was into Roy Buchanan before I was into Danny. And then years later, with my band in 1990-ish, we did a show with Danny Gatton at Shank Hall here in Milwaukee. Everybody goes, Shank Hall. Shank Hall was named after the fictitious venue in Spinal Tap when they played in Milwaukee when Smell the Glove arrived. David, Smell the Glove is here. That was at the fictitious venue, Shank Hall. So Peter Jest, a crafty local music promoter, opened his own club and called it Shank Hall. And there's a giant stone, well, not a giant Stonehenge, a Stonehenge nonetheless, above the stage. Anyway, so we played a show there. It was our band, Greg Koch on the tone controls, Danny Gatton, and Mick Taylor. And we did our set, and we were drawing well at that point in time and rocking out pretty well in the area, doing our combination of mostly our own stuff, but some covers as well. And we got done doing our set. We'd usually end with this tune of mine called Spank It, and into this tune called Tonus Diabolicus, which is a crazy jam. And we had to share a dressing room with Danny, and I hadn't seen him before the show. So we get done playing, and we go backstage, and he's sitting there, and he's playing his guitar. He looks up, he goes, you the guitar player? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, man, you sound great. He comes over, and it was like one of those things where you meet somebody, and you're like instantaneously, but you can't hear my stories. People are saying the mic is not on. Can you hear it? Oh, doggone. Hi, Greg. Motivated by my 50th birthday, I've put together a COVID relief fundraiser together for Matt Schofield and band. Would you be willing to share? Absolutely. Tell me how to share that, Peter, and I'll be glad to help out in that regard. The mic is on. You can hear it? Okay, maybe I should eat the microphone. Anyway, so I became friends with Danny after that show that we did together at Shank Hall back in the day. And then years later, we were going to do a tour together. I contacted him, and he was going to do a Midwestern tour, and I asked him if we could open, and he's like, yeah, absolutely. Call my agent down in Nashville. Now, usually when people say that, oh, yeah, you can open. Call my agent. And usually the agent says, yeah, sorry, kid. We'll see you later. I called up the agent. They said, oh, yeah, Danny told us you'd be calling. No problem. You know, here are the dates. We're going to do X, Y, and Z. So it was magnificent. But then he canceled. He canceled the tour, and then unfortunately what happened. So anyway, yeah, we're trying to work out all the bugs. I appreciate you guys being patient. My buddy Ryan, who's in Boston, I'm in Milwaukee, and Brian is in Boston area, trying to figure out the bugs from 1,000 miles away. So we're trying to figure it all out. So please be patient. We'll get it together one of these days. Hopefully before the end of this broadcast. Can you dig it? Hello, Greg. Still dominant as ever. Missed those Band of Gypsies bands. Lay one on me. Oh, yeah. Paris. We were just talking online. Band of Gypsies. Yes, I'm plugged straight into my signature Koch amplifier combo. Hope you can hear me talking, which you maybe can probably see in back of me here. It's behind this phalanx of guitars. I'm using I have a signature amp with Koch amplifiers, which is a company that's existed for years from Holland, and we hooked up at Music Messa one year, and we're just kind of shooting the breeze, and Dolph Koch and his wife came over, and they said, hey, we're fans of yours. I said, I played one of your amps once. I really dug it. And then we was like, wouldn't it be funny if we worked together? And so then we started messing around with an idea for doing a signature amp. So I wanted an amp with two 10s, 25 or 50 watts. It's got EL34s. And it's everything you're hearing is on board. Really good reverb, multiple gain stages, really good harmonic vibrato is what I want. Saying I should shut all the windows and try that again. Should we do that? Love that vibrato. Yeah, it's all right on board the amp. Let's see, what other questions have you? Greg, what TV shows and movies have you been taking in during the pestilence? Well, we certainly have gone through Ozark, the third season of Ozark, which is good times. What the heck else did we watch? I watched 1917 the other night. Boy, that's an uplifting movie. Woo! Lord have mercy. Dude, performing right after you at NAMM's Fishman booth was tough. Love your musical feel. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Where's Dylan? Dylan went upstairs to lay his head down and has not shown his face since. You know, it's a tough room. What are some good places to steal some jazz licks? Well, certainly listening to the jazz that you want to procure from. I find that if you're a blues player and you want, or a rock and roller, and you want to wise up your playing to a little bit of more jazzy stuff, Grant Green is a good gateway drug. He had a great feel, great tone, but the stuff is a little bit more digestible. So there's a good record called Green Street. His funk records are great. Live at the Lighthouse, fantastic. Funky as the day is long. Delicious. I've noticed that you don't use the triple gristle anymore. How come? Actually, I do use it. If I use a pedal board, I do use it. But one of the a great thing about the amp is that if I don't have to use pedals, I can just plug straight into the amp and it sounds fantastic. For those of you who don't know, I have pardon my reach here, my overdrive pedal that I've had for years is the Gristle King, which is an overdrive and clean boost. So I get a clean sound and then an overdrive sound on top of that. So that's what I usually, it's like if I have to do a fly-in and use a super reverb or a twin or whatever, I could put this thing in front of that and it sounds glorious. But if I'm in a situation where I have my amp, then I just use a chord and the guitar and away we go. Mr. Green is the man. Woof. Am I right or am I right? Grant Green. Can you dig it? How do I improve my playing? I guess just practice. But you can you steer towards some direction, a bit of rock, blues, jazz? What's your story? Well, I did go to music school, but I kind of always knew what I wanted to do in terms of stylistically put together this kind of blues, rock, jazz, funk, country, chicken picking thing with my own original music, and that's kind of happened. So I did go to school for music because I wanted to be able to write and read music at a professional level, and also know how to. Is that available on your website? Yes, it is. GregKoch.com. That's where all my instructional materials are available. I've got about 17 books and DVDs and all kinds of stuff from Hal Leonard. Can you hear me? Yeah. Oh, this doggone thing. Danny Kerwin? Yeah. So we're still trying to figure out the details of our. I don't like your pinky. Okay. All right, hold on. I'm going to try something once here, folks. I'll be right back. See what happens. I'm going to close this up and then try it again, or open it up and see what happens. That's what Ryan wanted me to do. So let's see what shakes. Go back over here and hit this and see what happens. All right, how we doing? We all right? Is that better? Oh, here comes Dylan. He has returned. Yeah. Your voice is better when you lean forward. Okay. Yeah. Did somebody want to know how much time you get for the loading up of the pickups? For an hour and a half charge, you get 300 hours of time. How's that? Is that better? Is that louder? Don't play with the pinky. I actually do play with the pinky, but I mess around with it every now and then. There's certain bends that are easier to do, or vibratos that are easier with the other fingers. This question is, happy to report that GK Fishmans are 4 years old, all great, play every day, only charge 3 times per year. Excellent. Well, that's a good story. I like that, Rick. Thanks for sharing that, doggone it. All right. Sounds so good, I can hear your stool cracking. That sounds a little strange, Dave. Greg, I want to be you when I grow up, and I'm 56, so you know that's going to work out. Have inadvertently made me a better player. Well, you and Jimmy Page. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you're enjoying the playing and grabbing some licks, as the case may be. I just turned up my microphone on this amp so you can hear it. I think the microphone is calibrated to the guitar sound, and that's why it's in. The guitar is really loud in here. Yeah, the way it should be. All right, let's do a little shuffle to it for the kids. I like to do a little shuffle. It's a 335. Come on, a two, Can you dig it? Yeah, that was a Johnny Winter lick. Good ear. Yeah. I noticed you gave young Thurman Juan a hat. Any other such aliens such as myself obtain one? Oh, the hats, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, you can procure these hats for my website. I call them gristle beanies, and they're available in all the flavors that I like to use. This is kind of my latest flavor that I've been enjoying. I think we call it maroon, green, blue, or maroon, blue, green. Can you dig it? What type of coffee is that, Dylan? One asks. Well, Dylan, you want to, well, you probably can't hear you because unless I scream into this microphone, you can't hear it. We have a Gaggia coffee machine here, which has been a savior. And we use that. We have a local roaster it's actually owned by a guy I went to high school with called Valentine Coffee here in the Milwaukee area. And the Ethiopian blend, for whatever reason, seems to be the most satisfying to the Koch residents. Did you tell Dylan he could get more gigs as a drummer? Oh, you mean as opposed to a guitar player? He just always wanted to play drums. That's my son back there. It says, the drummer is cooking. That's my son. That's Dylan James Kuchenheimer Schmidt. He is also quarantined here at our domicile. Okay, you dig it. Greg, I have a Gristle King into a Tweed Blues Junior. What do you think about the Fender Blues Junior? I love the Blues Junior. They're fantastic amps, and that's a good combination. I've used that amp on many occasions. I owned one for a long time. Years ago, we were the house band on the Brett Favre TV show here behind the Cheddar Curtain when the Packers were in the Super Bowl. There was a couple of years there where everything Brett Favre was quite crazed. And we were the house band on there. And I couldn't be real loud on set, so I used a Blues Junior on that. Pack Attack 12, it was called. Pack Attack. Some Setzer. Next time, Craig, I'll work up a little Setzer for you. I don't really know any. I think I worked up a version of his Sleepwalk years ago. I'd have to revisit though. Hi from New Zealand. Thanks for doing these and spreading the gristle. Well, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate that. Go Pack Go. Can you dig it? Do I have an amp collection? Asks Carlos. Not all that much anymore. I mean, since I got my signature amplifier, that's been my main amp. So I've got 3 of those. I've got 2 combos and a head and cabinet version. I have an old Super Reverb with D-Series JBLs. And I have a couple Vibroluxes. And that's about it these days. Dude, I love you, man. Thank you. You're like Bill Murray and Will Ferrell, who loves playing a Telecaster. Well, thank you very much. Those are 2 of my biggest humor influences. I don't know if you could sense that. Do I know any Leslie West? Love to hear Mississippi Queen. You know what? I don't really know if I know that song. Mississippi Queen. My son also plays drums, and we get to play and record together. My son has watched your son play and has been mighty. I'm sorry I missed it. It went away. But thank you. I think that was a nice comment. Thank you very much. Paul Pagat, my buddy Paul Pagat. He's fantastic. All right. I am going to grab my other guitar here. So I was using this 335, ladies and gentlemen. It has my Fishman Fluence classic humbuckers in there. I adore them. They sound glorious because they allow me. What's great about it is I can be on the net pickup and I've got both gain state. I'm on the lead channel with the overdrive boost on. Turn the volume down. It sounds nice and clean. Turn it up a little bit more. not wrong to go to magical places. I got to go back over here and see if there's any comments out there in movie land. All right, we're opening up the Restream chat, seeing what's happening. We're kind of figuring it out on the fly here, folks, trying to make it reasonable for you. Reasonable jams. Woo! Can you dig it? Is your wife home? Yeah, she's way upstairs. Greg just cured COVID-19. Well, wouldn't that be nice? Do you teach any of your own songs or material and lessons on your website? Yes. There is a DVD actually called Guitar Gristle, and that has a bunch of my stuff on it. There's another book called Guitar Gumbo, which has a very troubling picture of myself in a chef's outfit. There's no volume from the vocal mic on YouTube. Doggone it. I think what is happening is we're going to have to do some kind of a separate microphone for vocalizations. Cheddar meltdown. Ooh, oh. Michael wants to know if we can play Dylan the Villain. Well, we certainly can. Anyways, I just lost my train of thought, which is something that happens. Massive love, Mr. Greg Koch. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. What was the question? What was I talking about, Dylan? Do you remember? Oh, no, we're lost. It's gone. It's flown the coop. There was a question there, and I was beginning to answer it, and then it just went right out my ear hole into the universe. All right, I'm going to switch guitars here for a minute. I'm going to switch over to my signature Reverend guitar that has my pickups on it.
Well, that sounds terrible.
Sounds like that question, or that comment. This is like early TV, it is, isn't it? You can hear the guitar mic, but it's low. Or you can hear you on the guitar mic, but it's low. Oh, don't go on. G'day from Brisbane. Greetings. Just say hi. Cheers. Big fan since your Stevie Ray Vaughan style lessons. Oh, thank you very much. Dylan's a damn good drummer. When I first saw him play with you at Shake quite a few years ago, he is killer now. Well, thank you very much, Dave. I appreciate that. Do you find it difficult to switch guitars, or can you just play right away? Well, let's see. Let's see about that. A Reverend Horton Heat guitar? No, this is my Reverend signature model Gristle Master guitar with my Fishman Fluence pickups on it. No need to lean into that mic. It doesn't work. Well, I'm hoping that this mic is catching up on it, but we shall see. We'll figure it out. Thank you, Brad. Let's try a little bit of something. Will you ever play again with Jeff Pevar? I certainly hope so. Can you dig it? All right, well, thank you very much. Michael wanted to hear Dylan the Villain songs. We'll try that. Stuff sounding right out there? Can you hear that? Can you hear it? The neck pickup calls to me as if by name. Obviously rock the free world in other places. Yes, Led Zeppelin. I noticed an odd Richie-ism in your playing here and there. Was he a particular influence on it? Yeah, I loved old Richie Blackmore. Like time Garcia, I'm a fan and just curious. You know what? I think the only Jerry Garcia thing I ever learned was the pedal steel part on Teach Your Children. Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Will you dig it? Crazy Lazy. We've never done that before. That was kind of fun, though. Couldn't remember the words, though. Inagata de Vida, baby. Mm-hmm. You know, back in the day, we used to do Sweet Child in Time. That was long ago in Alzheimer's disease. I can't get this to work. Yeah, right? Am I right or am I right? You just made my big toe stand up in my boot. Now, I saw that movie, being a Hendrix fan. You ever messed around with fuzz? Yes. I don't have a fuzz hooked in right now, but absolutely messed with the fuzz. All right, folks. Well, you know what? We do this every, the Fishman feed. We do it every Monday and Friday at this time, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. No, actually, I apologize. 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Central. Your wife is from New Berlin. I was just in New Berlin today. I had to take my daughter to the doctor. Nothing serious, but she had a doctor's appointment she had to go to in New Berlin. So I got off on Moreland Road off of Highway 43, and I was in the warm bosom of New Berlin. And you always know when it's a local because we say New Berlin, not New Berlin. You know what I'm saying? New Berlin. Can we hear all this on a Koch amp? Yes, all of it is the Koch amp you're hearing. So this is the clean sound. The first gain stage. And then on top of that. Fish fry in a bit, am I right? BB King, let's do a little BB Kingism. folks. Thanks so much for tuning in. We will see you next week. It's about that time. It is. An hour has passed. An hour goes by so fast when you're rocking and rolling. We will be back on Monday here on the Fishman channel, which I'm also streaming to my YouTube channel as well and other Facebook portals. We will also be on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3 p.m. Central, broadcasting from the Wildwood page, which I will also put on YouTube as well. So we're going to try to work out the bugs for you so there's no latency and that you can hear what I'm talking about, and we'll go from there. Thanks so much for tuning in, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for being patient with us. And yeah, if you want to check out any of my instructional stuff or the hats or the Gristle King pedals or Skype lessons, any of that kind of stuff, you can go to my website. Especially, yeah, you can get the Fishman Fluence pickups on my website as well, or at wherever Fishmans are sold. Can you dig it? All at gregkoch.com, GREGKOCH.com. Can you dig it? Hope Dylan feels better. I think he's feeling proud right now. We're about to cook some chicken breasts on the grill with some delicious barbecue sauce from my buddy Sam's restaurant, Sam's Barbecue out in San Jose, California, ladies and gentlemen. That is some serious barbecue, and he makes a sauce that is a delicioso. And we're going to put it to good use tonight behind the cheddar curtain. Thank you, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay safe and sound and healthy and all that good stuff, and we'll see you soon. Adios.